always used to get jealous of like when I hear like big LAN parties in people's basements and like
Is
four
that a
computer.
thing?
Wasn't it at one point, like I swear I saw a couple photos in like some of my old gaming
I just don't
magazines,
know anyone who ever did that.
like
And if I
Counter-Strike
did,
back in the
they
day.
never
Or,
told me, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, no, I definitely wasn't included in that. Closest I think came was like a 12-person Super Smash tournament in the living room, but that was
That's
on
kind
one
of hype.
TV.
That's
Yeah,
kind of hype, though.
it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Are you really? Yeah, you're super good at Smash.
I do love me
We've
some
played before,
Smash.
and I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't even. This is ridiculous because I can't.
I'm
I just play it for fun.
I'm Elite Smash. If I just finally cracked it
I
the
think
last
you
time
are.
I
Yeah.
played.
Who's your main?
Greninja.
Greninja.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, super
Nice.
fast. Yeah, it gives me a rush like few games have given me before.
Yeah, I do feel like when we played that one time I came over, you were very hype about just whooping my ass. And
Yeah.
I'm not very good at that game the way that you are.
No, I mean I played the original. I played Melee on
Oh yeah.
GameCube, so I got a little history. And then this one is just I think they just keep getting better, and like
Sweet.
the mic just they you can break it down frame by frame, and it has, especially
Yeah,
me being.
that's cuckoo crazy banana stuff. Like people who are like, yeah, I know the frame rate of each character. Like
Well, I'm
what?
just looking at the as from a coding perspective, like how much has gone into that game to get these like all
Sure.
every
Right, because
that
you're into
amount of
coding now,
characters.
right?
Yeah, and that
Now
amount
you're
of
like, I
characters
appreciating
balanced.
it.
Yeah, and I can just and they'll even like I don't know, you can pause it, and just the way they give you a lot of options you can do with that game. I don't know, it's should have won game of the year, but this
Wow.
has nothing to do with the happening.
No, except for that when we play Smash Bros together, I want to kill myself. So that's
Oh,
that's our
that's a good
segue.
segue. Okay, and
Oh
we're back.
goodness. Welcome to Film School Dropouts, everyone, a movie podcast in which each season we cover a director's full filmography, warts and all. And there's plenty of warts this season because we're covering the films of M. Night Shyamalan. And today's episode, of course, is on his 2008 film. 2008, right? Yeah.
2008.
The
Yep.
Happening.
Yep, I believe what did it gross here? 163 million.
Is that domestic or is that international?
That's gross revenue. So that's everything, I
Okay.
believe.
Not great.
No, but it doubled or more than doubled Lady in the Water. Like we
Well,
talked
sure.
about, that was only 72 million.
That movie was a real flop.
So at least I don't know. What is it?
I'll bet you this movie is
has
a lot cheaper than Lady in the Water.
this movie is critically panned or on Rotten Tomatoes 18% score. We never bring up Rotten Tomatoes scores.
We don't bring up Rotten Tomatoes much, but yeah, people hate this movie so freaking much.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you saw it?
Well, yes, of course I do. But as I do every episode, I must remind you that we have to do our little movie segment.
Oh, just our little cute movies.
Just the little cute guys.
All right. Well,
and I've got a pretty cute one this week, so
I want to hear about yours.
Cute. Okay, so the other day, I don't know, like last week probably, I was starting to fill out all of my you're gonna love this. I think I might have told you this, but I made an Excel spreadsheet for Oscar ballots. Okay. And I have been backlogging. So I started in 2020 and I have been going backwards in time year by year, filling out full Oscar ballots on this like pre-made Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
So that's been hype. That's my definition of hype. But I've been going back. So I've been getting really obsessed with like filling out all these ballots. And I was like, oh, you know what? I got to catch up and I got to like update my 2021 ballot. And then I started realizing, oh no, I haven't seen a ton of movies this year for one reason or the other. So over the last like 2 weeks, I've been going crunch time, right? I've been watching lots of movies from this year so I can really feel
I just want to remind everyone that's listening, like James his pace is already pretty ridiculous compared to a normal person.
It's true.
So when he says crunch time, you can only imagine the rate at which you're knocking these movies out.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, I've been going crunch time. And the other day I threw on a little movie that came out early this year. I kind of missed it, but a lot of people liked it when it came out. A comedy, the rare comedy from James.
Oh, okay.
Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, starring Kristen Wiig.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard about that.
I heard that. A delight. A very fun little movie. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Kristen Wiig. I think she's hilarious.
So great.
She's hilarious, and I'll watch anything she's in. So I didn't see that yet, though. So it's pretty good, or how'd you feel about it?
Is it on Hulu? What did I watch it on?
I think it is on Hulu.
I think it's on Hulu. Yeah, I watched it on Hulu. I just put it on completely, just let me just throw it on, whatever, and
Sure.
had no expectations, and I like just cracking up the whole time, loving all the characters. Only downside is Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of Grey is in the movie.
Sure.
He plays like the love interest, and
Yeah.
he's not bad in the movie, but he's not always up to snuff with the comedy. He's not a comedy guy, so like I don't
Yeah.
know. But at the same time, it worked sometimes with him being like the sort of boring hunk while all this funny stuff is happening around him.
Yeah. I don't know really how good he is.
I don't know that he's good. Yeah, I don't. Listen, I
I
love
think
Dakota Johnson. I think she came out of 50 Shades of Grey. I think she's coming out strong. Jamie Dornan, I don't know if he's gonna.
No, because I think I first saw him on Once Upon a Time. Like he had like a bit part in like one of the earliest seasons, and
Yeah.
yeah, but all the housewives like, oh, he's so hot, so they like,
I mean, he's hot, but he's hot in kind of a boring way.
yeah, it's super boring. Like,
Yeah.
give me a little like a mannequin. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, that's a great word. But yeah, Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. It was directed by Josh Greenbaum, which doesn't really matter because like it's a Kristen Wiig movie. You know, like it's her.
Well, no, we cover directors here. So is this guy? How many
Sure.
movies is this? His
I
first
think
movie? Like
probably this is his first movie. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm assuming that he's like some guy that she knew who does like comedy stuff.
Sure.
But you can tell it was like it's her movie.
Yeah, if this guy, use a little momentum from this, goes
Hopefully,
on,
yeah. I mean, that'd be good for his
cool.
career. It's a really good, just like silly comedy. I loved it.
Great. I love.
What's
that.
your low movie? What obscure 90s comedy are you bringing to the table today?
No, this you would think. No, this is probably the greatest little movie that we've talked about yet. I think.
Okay, it's bold because I did bring up Carol on the last episode. So let's see what.
You're gonna agree with me though.
What is it?
Because we're never gonna cover this because this director has like one movie.
Okay. I'm very curious.
Well, it's because it was on Netflix and it was kind of like you. It was just on there. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I threw it on and I looked up the filmography. I was like, this is perfect. The 1986 classic starring Jennifer Connelly, David Bowie, directed by Jim Henson, Labyrinth.
I mean, I do love Labyrinth.
Is this not the greatest little movie of all time
I mean, are you saying out of all the movies that we've covered on the little movie segment, is this the best one?
I think I might stake.
No, absolutely not. I love this movie though. I love this movie so much.
Dude, I'm just saying I'm going through my list. I'm like, no, this is fucking Labyrinth.
I am it's really interesting that you bring up Labyrinth because I'm actually getting ready to nerd alert everyone. I'm getting ready to DM a new Dungeons and Dragons campaign that's all like pixies and fairies and stuff. And I was like, oh, I should watch Labyrinth to get in the right headspace.
Dude, it's as far as practical effects go, unreal.
It's beautiful. I mean, all those Henson movies, yeah, absolutely. They're just like a blast to look at.
Like I just was having so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it came out, like the critics actually hated on Connelly a little bit. I was like, no, there's parts where she's legit.
Connelly's an excellent actress.
Oh, one of my own. I mean, I'm in love with her, so I'm a little biased there, but
that's fine.
No, I know how good she is. Also, no, Bowie, come on, it's all about the babe,
the Goblin King himself.
The babe with Oh man, I was singing it the other day, but I was like, "This is perfect." I'm writing this down. This is great.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you
brought it. It's all about the babe.
I love him.
Babe with the babe, or like that.
That's actually not bad. You kind of had the little whatever. But before we talk about the happening, I have to introduce a new segment, as if this podcast didn't have enough segments as it is.
Sure,
we have like 17 segments, but here's a new one because we got a review on iTunes, and I want to read reviews before the episode starts.
Oh,
so folks, if you want to give us a review on iTunes, I will read it. I will read the review with my boisterous voice. I will read it on air for everyone to hear.
Well, I mean, this is a very nice review, though.
This is a very nice review, yeah. But I don't even give a fuck. You want to leave a shitty review? I'll read it.
Yeah, I mean,
Brent's like, I don't know about that.
I did look down. I was like,
no. Of course, please give us nice reviews. We love them, and it helps people see our podcast and stuff. But I just want to read this really quick review. The username is JTD951.
Said some nice things. Thank you.
Yes, the review's titled "Great Podcast," 5 stars. Thank you, JTD. He writes, someone on Paul Thomas Anderson's subreddit linked me to the podcast. Didn't know that there was a PTA subreddit. I'm going to have to check that one out. And I've been really enjoying it ever since. They are helping me discover more from some of my favorite directors, and I really dig the premise. trying to follow along as they go. And I eagerly anticipate hearing James and Brent talk about the movies.
Yep. The first initial is J. For a second, I was like, did this guy wouldn't write a review? James, J for James. I was like, this guy wouldn't. No.
You thought I wrote the review?
For a half second, I was like, wow, he's pushing it. So
no, I didn't write this review, but it is a very nice review. And thank you so much, JTD951. We appreciate it.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, I guess, are you ready to, whoa, hey, whoa, put the noose down. Put that gun down. Don't do it.
I'm starting to walk backwards.
You don't do it. Don't put your head under that lawnmower.
Yeah,
what's going on here? What's happening?
Okay. All right.
You're very disappointed in me.
We're there.
Yeah, let's talk about the happening, folks.
Homeland Security and the CDC
has reported attacks. Boston, Philadelphia,
Maryland. White House officials claims the CIA has a defense against chemical weapons.
I don't understand what you're saying. She says everyone's dead outside.
What's going on? We lost contact. With whom? Everyone.
The government's testing something there. If it went wrong.
The affected area now includes
California.
Authorities are now feeling, by the sheer numbers of attacks, that a terrorist group being responsible is becoming less and less likely.
So the first time you saw it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
I will never forget the first time I saw this movie because my father and I saw this movie together, as I have said for pretty much every one of these M. Night Shyamalan movies. But we went to the theater and we saw The Happening, the new film from M. Night Shyamalan. And we left the theater, and my father, he perfectly landed the greatest dad joke of all time. He said, more like the crappening, and I will never forget that.
As you guys were walking to your vehicle?
Yep, yeah. He's like, it was more like the crappening. And I was like, Dad, hells yeah. So, I always remember this movie as The Crappening because my dad was not a fan. And I was not either. I did not like The Happening. But then something happened. I put The Happening on yesterday, and I kind of liked The Happening.
Wow.
I've got a lot of things to say. It isn't good, but I watched it, and then I finished it. I was like, I don't know if it's because I just watched Lady in the Water, and that movie is so hard to look at, or if I actually am starting to like The Happening, but I kind of liked The Happening.
Well, I could definitely see how anything would look better coming off of Lady in the Water. So.
Sure. How about you? What's your relationship with this movie?
I remember also going to see it with a buddy in the theaters when it came out, and I was like, okay, it's M. Night. I wasn't at this point. It was just Lady in the Water, so I was still firmly big time.
Yes, it is. It's good to remember. Like sometimes directors just make a bad movie and then they just go back and they like nail it again.
Sure, my mindset was still favorably in his camp. I was still super excited. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. So that's where my head state was going into watching it. I remember coming out and being like, so kind of like you talked last episode during Lady in the Water about how after you watched the first time, you weren't sure if you liked it or not. And that's kind of how I felt with this one also, because I was still, I'll do this every once in a while. I'll try to like force myself almost to like it a little bit more.
This was a very common phenomenon when The Phantom Menace came out. I remember a lot of people being like, it was good, right? Like it was good. And then, you think about it for more than 5 minutes. It's like, no, it was bad. And you're like bummed that you didn't like it.
Yeah, no, that's how I initially felt. Another Star Wars was Rise of Skywalker when I left that.
Well, not.
I know. But anyway, yeah. So I left the movie and I was like, for a long time, I was like, no, it's not, it's not too bad, whatever. And I've watched it probably at least 4 or 5 times now.
Wow.
And I actually own this. Yeah. So at first, I went and watched the making of and the gag reel, and there's a little feature called a day and night. Basically M. Night's Day.
Right.
From like 8:45, and there were a lot of so he basically was talking about he wanted to do a throwback to like the 70s and create a sense of paranoia with this film.
Okay.
To sum up my experience the first time I watched it, I forced myself to kind of like it. So going into this one, you know, right off the bat,
you have seen it, like you'd seen it a couple more times before rewatching it for the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I think this is my third time watching it. And the second time I watched it was a couple years ago. And I had a very similar reaction to the first time where I was like, it's so friggin' bad. But like, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy. It's funny, but like, it's so bad. And then, I watched it yesterday and I was like, oh no, I'm going to like this movie.
Well, it just, he does go for like this weird, like, I got to say, I'll say it right off the bat. Everyone's acting weird again.
Okay. So listen, folks.
I gotta just come off right off the cuff with it.
I've got a hot take about this movie, which we can get to when we get to. I guess it's not, we don't have to get to it right this second. But I have a hot take about this movie and the way people act in it. We'll get to it later. I want to get.
I mean, I just came right off the cuff with it. Everyone's acting weird as can be. They're not human, you know.
No. So this movie, you ready to just start talking about this movie really quick?
Let's talk about it.
So this movie starts with maybe M. Night's, I'm going to say, maybe the best opening that M. Night has done.
So right off the bat, it's James Newton Howard back with the score.
Sure. I feel like James Newton Howard's kind of tired of doing these M. Night scores at this point, because this one's just sort of like very serviceable. Like, I couldn't possibly remember how it goes, but it's like, yeah, that's a horror score, I guess.
Well, no, I actually bumped it up. It's not like anywhere near like, Signs is his number one for me. I love that one.
Number one. I think the Unbreakable score rules, but I think Signs is just,
for me, it's Signs. Like he knocked it out of the park. I'm like, that is, and that's probably, it adds to what makes that movie. I rated it really high. This one's not bad. It right off the bat with these clouds and this openings, it's kind of a menacing. Like,
I think my hang up is
that's the word I got from the score was menacing. Because it was a little bit calm, and then it would come up, and not anything like Unbreakable or Signs, but
right. I think my hang up with this score, which is not a bad score. I think, like I said, it's very serviceable. Like it gets the job done. And this is totally a perfect personal preference. I'm a big motif guy. Like I really like when a score will have just like a theme and it'll come back to that theme over and over. Like the Unbreakable score, I could sing to you right now because I know the da, 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 with like the little drums behind it and stuff. This score doesn't really have like a personality that I can like remark upon. It's fine. But it's not, I don't know, it's not bad. Like the Lady in the Water score, I flat out don't remember because it's doing nothing.
But that was awful. Just everything about that whole movie.
We have to move on, Brent. I listened to that episode, while I was editing it, and I was like, Jesus, we were irate.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It was short, wasn't it? It's kind of a short one.
One of our shortest episodes, yeah.
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 Had to move on from that.
No, but I think the opening of this movie, set in Central Park, it's like one of the most chilling moments of his whole career, I think. The 1-2 punch of the Central Park and then the men jumping off the building, those two scenes back to back. I'm just like, I put this movie on and watched it with Jessica, and I'm just immediately, I think less than 5 seconds had gone by in the Central Park scene, and I was like, oh fuck, man, I think I like this movie a lot.
I mean, yeah, I remember loving the opening. Yeah, that's probably its strongest point in the whole movie, to be honest. And it's not really a dig. Like for me, it was because because it's so out of nowhere, and it's frightening to see everyone just stop.
It's so scary the way that he.
If that's me seeing that, oh no, I'm not handling that very good. Like I'm starting to scream. Like I might instantly hit the girl next to me just to mix it up.
The way he like sets this whole scene up is so cool because it's like these two girls sitting on a bench and one of them's reading a book and they're talking, and then the sound of the woman screaming, you can like barely hear it, but like the main girl hears it and she's like, oh, what was that noise? And she's sort of like, sounded like a woman screaming, and you're just like, something horrible happened like 2 football fields away, and we're hearing the scream of it. And then, of course, he's not showing it. And I think that is so scary. And then you start to see everyone stops moving. They just stand still. And then homegirl pulls like the hairpin out of her hair and just goes right into the throat.
Yeah, it's probably the most graphic kill we've seen to date from him.
This is M. Night's first R-rated movie.
Yeah, I think it's Fox or Sony. He talks about it in the making of where they came to him and they were like, That was their one stipulation. It has to be hard R.
They were like, you got to crank it up for this.
And he actually took out one scene that I thought it was the best special effects in this, in the whole movie, where the kids get shot. And you actually see, when you see a little bit of it, when he's laying in the grass of his brain. Graphic. Yeah, and he thought it was gratuitous. And at one point he had to get away from the NC-17. He had to bring it down to the R.
Okay, I have a hard time believing that because I barely buy this as an R-rated movie. Like there are like 2 moments where I'm like, "Oh, that was graphic," but not much more graphic than.
I don't know if I'm buying it either.
No. I wish he would have left in like the gratuitousness because, like, I mean, it's got 2 scenes where I'm like, that is a lot of violence, but everything else is very M. Night Shyamalan. It's all very implied. It's very sudden. It's a camera movement is what's scaring you.
You get this. The next stab is very graphic, very
really
violent.
graphic. Yes.
Lawnmower, extremely graphic.
Yep. And then the guy's getting his arms ripped off by the tiger or the lion.
That's a little CGI, but that's also very graphic and violent. And the shotgun blast to the stomach, graphic, violent. And then the extended one was the other one to the head, the shot through the window. With I don't know, the way it took off that kid's skull, it had to have been like either a rifle or I don't know, something strong, but I don't know, I'm not a gun guy. But yeah, no, the opening is terrifying.
I think it's great. And then it cuts to the guys jumping off the roof.
I almost was thinking, like, what if as the camera like panned, like if he did kind of like you would see kind of like a wave of people stop instead of just everyone.
Oh, that would be cool.
Just I don't know.
I gotta say though, I don't dislike anything he does in this movie with as far as it goes, like all of the deaths and the way that all the scenes like fully play out from beginning to end. I think all of that shit is done so well. It's so spooky. It's very M. Night. It feels like him kind of after Lady in the Water, it feels like him kind of getting back to his specific brand of like, it doesn't need to be hyper violent. It needs to be, I've staged this thing in a way so like when 2 things happen over here, I can turn my camera and show you the rest of it, and it's scary as hell.
Well, we're back with Fujimoto.
Yes, my boy.
Yeah, it's sweet. He was in the making of. You'd see him kind of just like walking around and like just this guy's
just being a badass, being a master. Oh, I love.
Well, let's talk about the cast. So we got Mark Wahlberg back. This is
ever.
We've talked about him before.
Yeah, this is I think our second Wahlberg movie.
I think this actually is as much as his performance is it's what I'll get into that later, but he's doing what he's told to. Like M. Night is clearly directing him here.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think this actually shows how, it shows he's a good actor because he can do what M. Night.
What?
No, it shows what he can do what M. Night wants him to do. I'm not saying his performance is good.
It's incredibly bad.
I'm not saying there's no one in this movie that is like knocking my socks off here. Everyone's annoying. Everyone's
okay. All right, let's get into these performances. I think Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel fully ruined this movie. I think it is all their fault. They are each so terrible and so weirdly wooden, but I will give Mark Wahlberg this. It's at least funny when he does it. I think she is so terrible in this movie.
Okay, but the trend is that they're both that same like weird. He was trying to get them to exhibit or like
I don't know if that's what
paranoia.
I think what happened with this movie was he made his movie because I don't think he went into this thinking like, "Ooh, I'm going to make like a B movie," which he's said after all the bad reviews came out. He's like, "Oh, I was just trying to make the biggest B movie of all time." No, you weren't. No, you were not. I think you made an M. Night Shyamalan movie and it has a really weird tone that doesn't work at all. And you are falling back on the defense of, oh, it's supposed to be a B movie.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. He actually said that in the behind the scenes. And when he said it, I was like, huh?
No. Like, he saw how the dailies were coming out and he was like, this thing's not playing right. I should say something. But I think Mark Wahlberg, like, he seems to hate being in the movie. Like, I feel like he wants to like go and beat up M. Night Shyamalan and like steal his lunch money and be like, you fucking nerd, make me be in this movie playing a science teacher talking about the bees. Like, it just seems like he hates being in it. And Zooey Deschanel, she just feels amateur in a way that I like don't expect from her. Like, I don't think she's like a great actress by any means. I like her just fine. But she seems like way out of her depth for this movie for some reason.
No, I mean, let's not dog on Zooey Deschanel. I think they both
She sucks in this movie.
None of it works. I don't even
Okay.
like, and I like, I mean, I'll say it right now. The third is John Leguizamo, Julian, the other teacher.
Yep.
I put him as my favorite character.
He's great.
Just because
here's okay.
He's
so
a little human.
Here's my hot take on like the performances of this movie. I have two things that sort of play into this. One, I do think M. Night was trying to do some kind of heightened horror thing where people are acting a little bit. I guess, you know, he's done that before, like in Signs, the war general or whatever. He's very bizarre.
No, everyone is kind of off kilter too in Signs, but I can kind of justify, you know, there's these global things happening.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening in this movie.
That's what I'm saying in both movies. And he's trying to use these things to justify people acting a little off.
Okay.
And so that's his atmosphere. And sometimes it really works, like it really works in Signs, and sometimes it really doesn't. And here it doesn't for me because everyone's killing themselves. People wouldn't be like
no, you're absolutely right about that.
That's the thing. That's the biggest thing that doesn't work here because I
think John Leguizamo is pretty freaking great in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most human.
I also think all of the extras are really good in the movie. Even like the little two, like when Betty Buckley shows up and she's like, I'll go to fucking 100 right now and be so insane. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool and spooky.
And she plays the old lady.
The old lady, yeah, Betty Buckley, yeah.
Are you whispering? Or I hear you whispering?
Well, we will get to that scene because that is a delight, that whole scene.
Yeah, she had good makeup on it.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I think anytime someone shows up for like one scene and they just are going full cuckoo bananas with like their weird dialogue and shit, I think it's kind of fun. But maybe it's just because I'm stuck with her the whole movie. Zooey Deschanel is just so boring and like, at no point do I want them to work out as a couple. I'm like, you guys suck. Like break up and don't ever talk to each other again.
Well, obviously that whole Joey
subplot
was terrible. Like that's just,
of course. That's M. Night on the phone, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but that's M. Night is the voice of Joey on the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to cuck Mark Wahlberg out.
Dude, I don't know, man. No, I hate it. Well, no, that's why you also hate her in this movie is because her storyline was horrendous.
Garbage. And she's a terrible character. Yes. So that's my first thing is I think everyone who's an extra is good. All the people killing themselves, incredible. Like they have the movements down. They have the blankness down so well. I think it's all super effective. And that might be faint praise, but whatever. It's praise, I guess. The other thing that I think this movie gets right unintentionally. They unintentionally, this is not something that he could have ever planned for, but I'm watching this movie yesterday and like 3/4 of the way through the movie, I'm just like, these fucking people are idiots. All of them are so dumb. There's scenes where like the wind will blow. And in a movie like this, it's cool if the characters don't know that the wind and the plants are causing them to kill themselves. Because we don't know that right away, right? We learned that throughout the movie. But once the audience knows and the characters don't, you start to hate the characters because you're like, well, we're all on board. Why haven't you figured this out yet, right? So the fact that later in the movie, they're still like hanging out in fields while the wind is blowing. And they're just like, oh, I guess we should get to that house over there. And you're like, yeah, go over there or whatever, you know? Or there's people just flat out ignoring the reality. Like they'll get the information and they'll just be like, well, no, we should stick together. It's like, well, that's completely antithetical to what you're supposed to do. All of that, all the stupidity. I'm watching it and I'm just like, this is kind of a great COVID movie. This is kind of a great movie about like how people are just running in the face of COVID with all the information they need and they're still choosing to die. Now, obviously, COVID wasn't around when this movie was made. And obviously that's all completely unintended. But like, you know, that mixed with the obvious 9/11 imagery of the people jumping off the building in the, you know, beginning, I was just kind of like, oh, I'm kind of on this movie's wavelength in a weird way.
Wow. So you're drawing some real life comparisons.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, obviously that is unintentional. I don't think M. Night thought of these characters as being outright stupid people when he wrote the movie. But now I'm watching it and I'm like, God, this is kind of how like all these anti-vaxxing morons are behaving.
So the even that opening shot, I know it's iconic where people are walking off the roof.
It's chilling, yeah.
But you know, the fact that he doesn't look up instantly to see if the guy was pushed or anything, and
right?
Just little things like that bothered me. Like obviously, you see someone fall, the first thing you're going to do is look up.
Yes,
right. And like 3 more people fell without him even looking up, and I was just like, that's it's little things like that. But I get it. M. Night was trying to get that money shot because
he's trying to build the suspense of like what's going on. Yeah.
So yeah, right off that, the next you're introduced to Mark Wahlberg in this classroom.
So immediately, I start the movie. I go, oh, Jessica, I think I'm kind of digging this movie. Like, I'm really loving this tone. I think everything's really spooky. As soon as Mark Wahlberg opens his mouth, I was like, oh, never mind. This movie sucks because it just. As soon as Mark Wahlberg's introduced, he's just some fucking dumb high school teacher. He's like, what's going on with the bumblebees, guys? Where are all the bumblebees going? And you're like, what is going on?
You're not a fan of that at all.
He's so bad in the movie. But like I said, as opposed to Zooey Deschanel, who I'm just bored with, I am kind of fascinated by how bad he is in this movie and how weird and like miscast he is and how like heightened he's being without knowing. I don't think Mark Wahlberg is not like a super funny actor. He can be, but like, I don't think he's very self-aware in the way that I think you need to be if you're doing this performance trying to make it funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this movie does move fast. So
well, it's a tight 90 minutes. And like I said, the opening scene, just like a lot of these M. Night movies, he gets right to the point.
He actually cut like a very long, the original opening scene where it was a fight between the two.
Oh, good. Get that shit out of there.
Yeah, and it's instead open smart. On the park.
That's smart.
Yeah, trim the fat because it was a rough scene.
I'm sure it was. I do love when like you hear stories like that and you're like, well, I'm glad that these directors know when to. Yes, like they shot the scene thinking, okay, this is a good scene, and then in the context of the rest of the scenes, they're like, you know what, we don't need it. Get rid of it. So I like that.
Well, on tradition, of course, I found something I also didn't like about that classroom scene.
Here we go, baby. I was waiting for it.
No.
I Brent hates M. Night's classroom scenes, and this is a big one.
I didn't really have that big of a problem until right at the end when he was like, he gave a pump fake to the kids. He's like, hey, kids, never mind.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. What? And I was like, and I just wanted to, what are you doing? Let bizarre. Those kids go.
What was he going to say?
No, be careful.
Was that what he was going to say?
It had to have been.
It was that is the beginning of me agreeing with you, where it's like, are any of these people human beings? Who does stuff like that? It was so bizarre.
Yeah. And even the reaction of one of the kids should have been like, huh? You know, like
the fuck?
No, it was just, and then he proceeds to, you get a great scene with Leguizamo talking about math or whatever.
Right.
And then Mark Wahlberg talks on the phone about I'm assuming Zooey Deschanel, about their troubled relationship, walking through the phone through the hallway.
Right.
I'm like, no
teacher would ever do that.
Never.
No. You're not even supposed to know that your teacher's a real human being.
Right. And you take away a kid does that, you take away their phone.
Right.
Kids are gonna be teachers.
Well, okay. You know what? I'm gonna rush to the defense.
Sure.
There is a horrible global event. Well, I guess just nationwide event of people killing themselves. So I guess this is
no. At this time, it's only isolated to Central Park.
Still, I think if it were 9/11, you would be excusing him, and nothing happened in Philadelphia on 9/11.
Sure. All right.
We got it. Ooh, I saved it. But yeah, it is weird when he's like, "Hey kids, nothing."
No, that you ain't saving that. That's fucking
garbage.
That was dumb.
Yeah. So basically, what happens here is a bunch of people start killing themselves all over the East Coast of America, and they start running away from it, right?
I see that right off the bat, there's like talks of travel, and that's like the opposite thing that I would do, right? You kind of bunker down in the initial.
Yes and no. I guess that's one of those. Well, certainly initially when you don't know anything.
Right.
Yes.
Like this
Yeah.
is
Though the fact that they all immediately jump on a train is really weird.
like mass travel instantly.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not. Yeah. Yeah. Once you actually know what's going on, then you can make your plans. But yeah, it's weird to. I don't
you
know.
get
I
Mark
don't know if they're
Wahlberg talking to Julian John, and he says she's acting distant.
This sucks. This is dumb.
This is another way to kind of excuse how she's acting. I feel there's two things.
That's a good read
because M Night wants everyone acting a little weird because of the atmosphere, but also he uses this as a device for her to be kind of weird and stand off. At least that's how I took it.
Well, yeah,
and it's bullshit because it's
apparently their relationship is on the rocks.
It sucks. It's trash. that whole any cheating little bullshit subplot to excuse. I don't know. I hated all that.
It's not good, and it's not even cheating. Like nothing happens. She's just like, we got tiramisu once.
Ew. Like don't. I know all that I hated.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Probably nothing worse than when he actually calls and Mark Wahlberg says, "Who's Joey?" And she says, "No one."
Yeah, and then he just moves on.
And then he looks away like a normal human being.
No. Yeah, I know. It's not.
Why would he shove this subplot into like this? This
it's
is supposed
really
to be,
weird.
This is supposed to be like an apocalyptic event. This is,
Yeah. I just, I think M. Night can't help himself trying to like be a little bit of a people pleaser and give people that like romantic subplot, but it's a dud here, man.
No, big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Real big. Just should have been avoided. Not interesting.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of the movie either. So it's like you could have easily kind of
you just write
rewrote
something
that.
else.
I was just gonna say that's such an easy thing to work around.
Yeah.
But I guess once you start shooting and you realize that your stars have no chemistry, there's not much you can do once you're already rolling.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Yeah, this is whatever, but they're on the train. So the train ends up having to stop because there's a Philadelphia outbreak.
Yep. They lose contact with everyone.
Lose contact. Does everyone from the train go to this diner?
I think so. Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, because that's when everyone's like sharing the videos of the tiger attacks and all that.
Right.
Here's my thing. How did everyone have vehicles at the diner when they left?
I don't know. This is a shitty movie. I don't know. Some small town. Maybe it wasn't everyone from the train. I don't know.
Oh man. It was just
don't get caught. I gotta say, you can't get caught up in that kind of stuff with this shitty of a movie. Like
no, the logistical aspects, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, no, I gotta know how people this is supposed to be. I will say as much as I didn't like that everyone had a vehicle, I did like he did create a decent sense of mass hysteria, like just everyone's pulling off
the panic,
just like please, just I do like that's cool. Like it sucks that in the same chunk I can like something that much and hate some, but the mass hysteria, and you see it a couple times, but
yeah, people not helping people and whatever. Yeah, so they split up the group here. John Leguizamo leaves his daughter in the hands of a woman he doesn't like very much and his friend from school.
Yeah, this is...
And then there's the really weird line. Don't take my daughter's hand unless you mean it. The fuck does that mean? You're the one leaving her with me, dude. Why are you threatening me?
No, I didn't hate that line as much as the one before in the train station. When the first time he like sees her, she's like, "Hey, Julian," and he's like, and he says something about her. Like, why are you here? Like he says something like, "Why are you here?"
Oh God, their relationship thing is so shitty. It's so bad.
That line was horrendous. That's actually at that point is when I wrote bad script after that line in the train station.
A terrible script. It's not as bad as Lady in the Water. The script is not as bad as Lady in the
Water. That's like we're talking about a turd here,
but it's not a good script at all.
Oh no, I don't write bad script often, and that was after that. I was like, wow, that's
it doesn't
rough.
help when Mark Wahlberg is the one being like, "Why aren't you guys giving me any information here?" Like he's just so bad in the movie. So that tiger video they watched in that diner was
watched on an iPhone because iPhone came out the year before.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because not everyone had it. And I was wondering, like, because I just like seeing
Is that the first viral video?
It might have been.
Yeah.
Because it showed the next guy he also took out a death here. There was another death.
Oh, really?
At a violin concert. It was
fucking. Did someone violin their wrists?
I saw that and I was like, oh, this could be sweet. And it was the dumbest. Like people were sitting in chairs and they just started falling over on their faces.
Oh, that's bad. It would have been cooler if a violinist was on a stage and they like
the violinist like took the violin and shoved it down her throat. And I was like, what?
Dumb.
Yeah, really dumb. So I was like, another good cut. That was awful.
It's a good cut. Yeah, you're right. Because that bums me out. Okay. So they split up here. Now, what follows is essentially you get one last scene with John Leguizamo with the math equation and they all die. And we'll talk about that because I kind of like those scenes. But and then the rest of the movie is just Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg and the little kid running away from the wind until they don't have to anymore. They go to a couple locations.
Yep, that's the rest of the movie.
They go to a couple locations, but that's it.
Two locations. Locations. They make up, and then you get the final shot.
Right. So the John Leguizamo scene is actually kind of cool because it's him in another car in like a tarp Jeep, and he's on his way to meet up with his wife in New Jersey. The scene plays out really well where the first scare where they turn the corner and all those people are hanging. You like have ladders up in the trees, and people are hanging from the trees. Great image.
Yep. Great.
Awesome. Good jump scare too. Like the way that it plays out, it's actually quite frightening.
The girl that does the screaming, very good.
Good scream.
Yep.
And then John Leguizamo tries to calm her down by giving her a math equation.
What was that? That was like a little like construction crew, and they
probably
and they just started hanging themselves. Oh,
something like that, yeah. Or just brutal. People like went to their garage and got fucking ladders and hung themselves.
Oh no, I think they were in gear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was a full-on team. Like,
so they start driving, and then John Leguizamo looks up and sees that the tarp is cut, so he knows that the wind is getting into the vehicle. They're being exposed to whatever it is that's making people kill themselves, and he gives this girl the equation to calm her down, which would not calm me down. By the way, giving me a math equation would stress me out.
Well, he says 60%. I don't like those. I mean, it's decent. But
No. The penny a day equation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where'd the 60% come from? Oh, he tells that to Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, this from earlier. He tells his mom that there's 60% chance or whatever.
Sure.
But the math equation, which is if I give you a penny on the first day, 2 pennies on the second, and 4 pennies on the third, how many pennies would you have by the end of the month if you kept going by those odds? And he says it's over $10 million. And I was like, no fucking way is that true. And of course it is true. I'm an idiot. I'm a dumb idiot who doesn't understand math. But that's crazy. That really blew my fucking lid.
Well, how long does he say it goes for? A penny a day? And it just doubles each day. Right?
Each day.
Yeah.
And then you for 1 month. So after 30 days, you'd have over $10 million.
Wow. That's pretty nice.
Cool. Pretty cool. And then they drive their car headfirst into a tree. A couple of them die.
Yeah, the driver stops, and you get this.
So good.
Really, this is a really good shot of the scene where of the movie where he just floors it. The Jeep just takes off
right into a tree.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And he just flies right through the front shield window. I don't know why they weren't probably took off their seatbelts, honestly.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yep, that's the thing. Probably made him do.
Yeah, and then Leguizamo gets out of the car and sits down and grabs a piece of glass and cuts his wrists.
Yep, just starts, and it's not like just like a slice. He starts sawing.
Yeah, he's like stabbing and sawing and stuff. Not good.
Yeah, pretty brutal. And
that's it for our boy Johnny Legs. So,
he's solid. Yeah, I mean, he's the most. Like I said, he did the most with what he could here. He was the most human. The way I took it.
Yeah,
between the three leads for sure.
Yeah, I think it's good. So let's catch up with Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel and the little girl.
Little girl's name is Jess.
They make their way into the country, and they start to realize that it's plants.
Well, the first guy you meet is we got to talk about.
We got to talk about hot dog guy, right?
Hot dog guy.
This guy belongs in the hills have eyes. First of all, he's insane looking, and he just loves hot dogs. He loves to talk about hot dogs, and he gets defensive when you don't like hot dogs. Unexplained.
Nope, just a little hot dog.
Just a little hot dog humor for you.
Yep. So
what was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
You don't even get him for it because they meet up with a larger group, kind of like what is it?
It's that cool scene where like they're going down a road, an army dude comes out. It's Jeremy Strong. Hey, what's up, Jeremy Strong? How you doing?
It's a four-way
Yes.
cross.
Yes, and then like they all realize that they've all been running in the same, like, you know, towards the center because they're just being surrounded by this death zone, and they're in the middle of it. And they're like, well, and then Mark Wahlberg has that terrible scene where like they go over the hill and people start shooting themselves, and he's like, give me a second to think. I got to do my high school scientific hypothesis. And like you're just like, this fucking guy sucks. And they're all looking at him like, what do we do, Elliot? It's like, you're all adults. Do something. Don't ask this freaking nerd.
Well, that's why I liked that. I didn't like any of that, but I liked that people started walking off and they didn't wait for him to like, think of something. I was like, good. Thank God.
Yeah, leave this guy.
Right. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean.
So they've just figured out there's something in the plants that makes you kill yourself, and it attacks large groups. So you want to be in a smaller group.
That's pretty much the consensus at this point. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they break up into their smaller group. They meet up with these two young boys, and they go to the first house that they try to get food out of to take a break so that the little girl can rest.
So now that we know, so this is I'm going to also point this out. Now that they pointed out this mechanic about how it kind of goes after large groups.
Yeah. John
Leguizamo's group, what, there 4 people?
Yeah.
Why to go after him?
So
because his vehicle was carbon.
Yes, it was not eco-friendly.
Like maybe it targeted that.
No, so I took it as the toxins target the biggest group, and then once the biggest group is done, it targets the next biggest group, and that's why like it ends up targeting like Betty Buckley in her garden. It doesn't really make any sense at the end of the movie if it only targets big groups. I think it starts with the biggest group of people and then works its way down until it's just killed everyone.
Yeah,
don't like that.
No, I think right off the bat, how the with the Bumblebee question, how it's not explained and how some things are
sure
like, that he hits you over the head with.
Yeah, he tries to get it started.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the answer. You got to, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, so he tries to excuse himself very early.
I think that works though. I like that. Like, I like the idea that it just works its way down until it's killed everyone.
It felt like it went out of order though, because like with that theory, it shouldn't have gone after Leguizamo's group before when it's going after.
Well, there was no one else in that area. Everyone else was dead in that area, and they were the smallest group in that area.
No.
I stand by it.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, so they go to this house, and a couple of rednecks are like, get off my damn lawn, you terrorists. That's the other thing is this movie. I love how much everyone thinks it's terrorists at first. I think it's really, really prescient that like a horrible thing is happening where people are killing themselves nonstop. And the first thing America says is, oh, it's probably brown terrorists.
Well, they don't specify brown.
No, they don't. But listen, we all know what Americans mean when they say terrorists.
Sure.
But I think he nailed that on the head. I think that was great.
I mean, wouldn't that be, what would you think? If this actually started happening, what would you think?
I'd be like, man, this is just like The Happening.
Someone call M. Night.
No, I probably wouldn't immediately go to Al Qaeda though. I don't think that they have the means to make this happen.
No, I definitely wouldn't go to Al Qaeda.
No,
but I don't know. I don't know what I think.
All right, so we're at the scene with these like rednecks, and they're standing their ground, and they yell at these people to get off their porch, and they don't. And Mark Wahlberg's like, "Okay, guys, it's not worth it. We should get off the porch." And then that one douchebag starts like kicking the door and calling them like pussies and stuff. And you're like, kid, go away.
Yeah. And I don't know why, like, even the people inside aren't listening to Wahlberg saying, like, okay, come on, you know. Yeah. Instead, they just open fire and kill the kid.
Yeah, they just blow this kid away.
Just right straight to murder.
Yeah. And then then the black kid gets domed. He just gets shot right in the head.
Yep. Pretty graphic kills.
Yeah.
Right before that, I will say there was a pretty cool shot where like Mark Wahlberg will go like, oh, is that a good idea? Because Jess is swinging on a tree swing. And he's
right.
And
but you can hear the tree branch creaking.
Yeah, and you get this really cool overhead shot where like, I don't know, it's just.
No, that's a good moment. So I think at this point in the movie is when we get like a quick montage of like, you get the reaction of a bunch of different people across the world or across the nation. where like you got like the two old ladies sitting with their gas masks on. You got all those like MAGA dudes loading their guns, getting ready to shoot the wind. I guess these fucking idiots. They're going to be the first to go. They're going to pull the fucking triggers on their own heads. And then you got the newscasters talking about like what people are supposed to be doing and how people are reacting to it. Again, a very COVID moment for me, because I was just like, I think one of the newscasters said something like, the CDC has recommended everyone in the targeted area flee to the western border of the state as soon as possible, but some are bunkering down and ignoring protocols. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what happens. Is some people don't abide by the CDC and they think that they're better off and they're the problem.
Oh, shoot. I loved all that with the news, because
like the collage or the montage of the news.
You get it a few times throughout the movie where you get like news updates, which is, I did enjoy that. So the CDC was telling people to flee.
It was some authority.
Because my thing was saying bunker down too.
No, some authority was saying like try to get out of the targeted area, get to the western border, get across the border into Ohio, and like they were saying that like that's the best way to get away from this thing, and then. Of course, some people are like bunkering down in their homes and they're refusing to leave.
Shit, I see. My gut instinct is to seal the windows and bunker down.
It doesn't matter.
It'll get in.
Human error. You're gonna fuck up somehow.
Well, no, it'll get in for sure.
It's wind. You need it. You'll just suffocate if you don't. So, anyways, so then they go to the last house, which is Betty Buckley's house.
Yep.
Yeah. So here is the scene where
this is right off the bat. He rounds the corner, sees her sitting there.
Okay.
She says a good 4 or 5 things.
Yes.
To which he says nothing in response.
She's like, "Oh, I guess I should offer you supper. Come on in." He hasn't spoken a word. So by the end of this scene, when she's like screaming at him and like acting like a madwoman, I'm like, yeah, they're fucking gaslighting her into thinking they're ghosts or something. Like they won't speak to her. Awful. Even Zooey Deschanel says nothing to her. Brutal. It's insane.
Finally, you get a little bit at dinner but all of this is really weird and strange and just not how people would act at all in a crisis like this.
Like all of this, yes, this is all bad. But the beauty is we get the immortal line from this scene, which is she asks if they're planning to steal something from her. And do you want to give me the line reading of Mark Wahlberg's reaction?
What? No.
Okay, I'll give one too. What? No.
What? No.
It's the wide-eyed shock where he's just like, what?
And she walks off. Yeah.
And then she just like shuffles away.
Saunters off.
Yeah. It's just so fucking funny when he says what? No, it's so good.
Oh, that's when you follow her and be like, listen, all of this, none of it is just.
I know.
And it's all for atmosphere.
I think you've hit something. No, I think you've hit on something that I've never really realized about M. Night. And I'm starting to realize, like watching more and more of these movies, it doesn't really bother me, but it obviously bothers you because you bring it up often enough. And I agree with you. It's just like a thing that I just sort of let go. He's not very good at ending scenes, is he?
Right. Because that's where the follow-up would be of him like justifying
something would happen
steal.
After that, right?
Sure,
like something would happen after that scene. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think that he's kind of just like, okay, the scene's over. Let's just next scene. Like, there's no real resolution within scenes sometimes.
And I get why he's doing it. It's to build, like he wants to create an atmosphere, and he does.
I don't think that's the atmosphere he's going for, though. I think he's just bad at it.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't know, but by ending at a certain point, the viewer, you're not getting that,
right?
And I don't know, he's letting it be bizarre. I feel that's how I get it. So
okay.
I do want to say,
okay,
when the phone call, when before they even get to all this, and it's the huge group, the four-way merger group, and you get the phone call with the woman and her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And oh my God. And you hear the wind through the phone. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was like,
love it. It's so bad.
I don't know if I just forgot about that.
It's so funny.
That is That's the craziest thing in this entire fucking movie.
It might be the most insane thing in the movie. It's maddening.
Absolute. Like, I almost want to. You know what? I'm erasing Julian. It's the wind.
The Wind is your favorite character?
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah.
Sorry, John Leguizamo. It's the wind.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. So then Betty Buckley ends up like smashing her face into the windows, and the wind gets in the house. And Mark Wahlberg's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna die. I guess I'll go outside." And they talk to each other through the tube. All this sucks. They start talking about the mood ring that we didn't even mention, but there's like the fact that this grown man carries around a mood ring is just like, shove this guy in a locker, man. Get him out of here. And then they like embrace or whatever, and the wind blows around them, and nothing happens because like that's the end of the movie. And then you get like a final news reel where like a scientist is being interviewed talking about his theories about like why it didn't go further and what's going on with it. And then the movie ends with like a another pretty awesome chilling scene of a bunch of people like in France realizing they're like watching another scene from the beginning where like they're all about to kill themselves because like something is happening again in France.
And yeah, that's the end of it.
That's the movie. We a couple kills that we didn't talk about. Lawnmower kill.
Yeah,
pretty brutal.
They kind of at one point the group like come over a hill and they see like it's like five people merging with like another 4.
That scene probably freaked me out the most out of all of the like killing scenes because of the way they staged it, where like Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel and the kid are on a hill. And they're far enough away from this scene to feel like it's that like safe for them to be there, but they're also close enough to be kind of freaked out that it's happening in front of them. And like just the image of like, because the camera's set in the same place they are, so you're getting that sort of bird's eye view off the hill, and it's just frightening when everyone stops and they're that close to you, and then they start killing themselves. I'm like, he's kind
of monitoring. So, it's like those 2 groups are getting too close.
Yeah, and then they just all stop.
Well, yeah, it looks cool. It's still off the rails completely at this point.
No, of course, when Wahlberg speaks, I'm like, all right, damn it. But like, you know, as a silent film, this would probably work great.
I think at one point he says, "Why are we talking about this?" And I was just like,
there's the scene where he talks to the ficus. We didn't talk about that. I'm talking to a plastic plant.
Yeah,
I'm still doing it.
Brutal.
Not funny.
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh,
mind.
You know what? Hold on.
I didn't mind. I'm talking to a plastic plant. I don't like. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Maybe the second, if the most insane scene is us hearing the wind through the speakerphone, I got to go with the second most insane thing that happens in this movie is after Zooey Deschanel tells Mark Wahlberg that she went on a date, he comes back with like, one time I went into a CVS and I saw a hot clerk, and I'm talking about a completely superfluous bottle of cough syrup. That's like $6. And she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "No." What?
Yeah. Yep.
That's insanity.
No, that would totally happen while they're trying to survive.
So right, that's the happening
in the field.
Any other things you want to talk about with the happening?
I think I'm good.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I mean, I wrote down Wind Ex Machina just because it stopped at one point.
Okay. Sure.
You know, the time they're about to like die.
No, it is like, of course it stops now. Like,
right.
Sure.
You know, it's a little like,
okay. So here's my final thing about this movie. My final thing about the happening. I think the premise of this movie is just absolutely stellar. I think it's such a good idea for a movie. Like, especially the fact that M. Night clearly was like, oh, I could make like an environmental horror movie, and then doesn't really do much with it past that as being like the idea. I think this is such a good idea for like plants trying to purge the world of humans. It's such a good idea for a movie to have all these visuals of people killing themselves suddenly, and then you find out the reason is because plants are intoxicating humans to do this. I love all of that. Obviously, he doesn't handle it very well, but I think it's just like, it's such a good idea for a movie. And honestly, this is the kind of movie you remake. You remake a shitty movie. I don't need a freaking third remake of Scarface, you know? They kind of nailed it the first 2 times. I don't need another one. Why don't people just remake shitty movies? Take a movie that was like a good idea, they did it shitty, and do it better.
So like, if someone came along and was like, I want to redo I want to remake The Happening.
Yeah.
I want to, but like, you know, another thing, it's kind of tough that he did it in 90 minutes too. It's
yeah, that's true. I don't mind it though, but like, I listen, I'll take a 90-minute movie any day.
I get it.
I do
it's
think
just
I think a really good ending for this movie. He got really close to a really good ending. I don't dislike the whole you see it happening again in France thing, but we all know that it's the plants, right? Like it's the plants that's causing this to happen. I think a really cool ending would have just been like a really long silent shot of wind like rustling through a bunch of trees where you're just like, that could be anywhere like right
excellent.
now. That would have been good, right? You know, I don't mind what he did.
Kind of make him into like a Michael Myers type thing.
Yes, that's a great idea. Yeah. Oh my God, the end of Halloween, all the shots of the empty houses, and you're like, something where is he? Yeah. He could be anywhere. It would be so good to just get a bunch of random shots of wind going through shrubs.
I mean, it definitely paints a bleak. Well, I mean, so like, how would we beat it as a people? Well, we wouldn't.
We wouldn't. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need to be here anymore. We had a good run. We're freaking poisoning everything around us. It's cool for us to die. Let's do it.
No.
Time for us. Time to. We had a good run.
We would measure the length of each happening instance.
What?
Yeah, that's how. In order to beat it, and then we would.
No, we're not.
We would guesstimate.
Listen,
obviously,
if right now,
cities.
if plants started shitting out toxins that made us kill ourselves, there is so much fauna on this planet. We would be wiped out in 3 days.
Well, I mean, I hope it wouldn't attack where I'm at, man. I don't want this happening.
We're all going down, Brent.
No, I'm not ready for it to go out like that. I'm a survivor. Whenever I think of the 10 biggest post-apocalyptic events, I definitely never think of this one. That's why I do like this concept. Like, it's pretty cool.
Such a good idea for a movie. Such a good idea for a movie. And like, they should just do it again.
Hey, you know what? Maybe.
Honestly, let M. Night do it again.
No,
set him up with Blumhouse. Give him a small, tiny budget like he's been working with.
No, I'm good.
You're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
What if he just did a sequel? What if he did a sequel and then he just did it better?
Now I'm on board.
Oh, okay. So not a reboot, but a sequel.
Absolutely. I want more of I want to see what else happened. But I don't want their story. I want those.
No. We don't go anywhere near Philadelphia. I don't ever want to see Elliot and Alma ever again.
No.
I hope it starts with them killing themselves. Start the movie with them killing themselves.
No, I want 10 years in the future with Jess as a badass teen.
That's cool. Yep. And she's like, I left my parents because they're the worst people in the world.
And the whole planet is overgrown at this point.
Oh, that's good. See, now we're getting somewhere, folks.
Yep. Maybe it's not as powerful. Maybe I don't know. But it's sweet. I'm there. So do you want to rate it?
I'm ready to rate it.
All right. What do you got for a score?
2.5 stars.
2.5 stars.
2.5 stars. It's not,
okay.
and that's right in the middle, folks. That's half a 5.
I probably the first time I watched this movie, I would have given it a 2.5.
I gave it 1.5 stars the first time I watched it, so I bumped it up a whole star this time.
I gave it a 1.5 this time.
Okay, so we went in opposite directions.
Yes.
Weird. Okay, that's fine. So I mean, yeah, we're close enough, but
it's just the reason why it fell off a cliff for me was the noticeably poor script.
It's really bad.
And I can't forgive how bad that script is. And I get what he's trying. I totally get what he's trying to do with the tone, even though I don't agree. And I don't think the tone works here. It just comes off as weird. No one feels human. The biggest atrocity for me by far is the script. And I just couldn't get past it.
No, it's a bad script. And as far as the tone goes, like, I know I've been talking about this movie a lot on this podcast, but Malignant, James Wan went in and was like, I know what I'm doing. This is going to be silly. And this is going to be like a little bit campy. And he nails the tone of that movie. And I'm sitting there watching The Happening. And I'm like, if I like Malignant for all those reasons, why don't I like The Happening as much? And it's because he just doesn't nail the tone. It's just, instead of laughing with all of the cringy, campy stuff, like I do with Malignant, you're laughing at it. You're just laughing at how incompetent it is. And that is the problem.
It doesn't work. He's trying to make it. He's trying to, like I said, he even said this a bunch, like he's trying to build a world of like paranoia.
Yeah.
And instead it feels forced paranoia.
It's really silly. Yeah. It's just
like finding a radio in the middle of a field type. At one point they did find a radio attached to like a wood post, and it just to get the news like bulletin. It just feels a lot of it feels forced, and it does not work here. No. So
yeah. All right. 2.5 stars for me. 1 star for you.
1.5.
1.5. Sorry. 1.5 stars. Yeah.
Yep. 1 star was Lady in the Water. So it was better than I definitely
much better. Much better. It's 20 minutes shorter. It's more fun. Like there's stuff that happens where I'm like, I like that I'm looking at this. That never happens in Lady in the Water. Okay, so you ready to play the game?
Let's play the game.
Okay, so you might think, let's do Zooey Deschanel. No. We're not doing Zooey Deschanel. What about John Leguizamo? No, it's all the Ice Age movies. That's it. It's top 5, just the Ice Age movies.
Oh,
well, we already did Mark Wahlberg. Who could you possibly have brought into the game for us to do? Well, my friends, we're doing the game for a little guy named Jeremy Strong, who plays Private Oster in this film. He's got like 2 scenes. We're doing the game for Jeremy Strong.
I don't even know this guy.
You don't know Jeremy Strong?
I don't know this guy at all.
You know Jeremy Strong.
Not in the slightest.
Well, that's okay, because we're going to do his top 5, and you're going to do a great job.
I literally couldn't even tell you who this guy is.
Well, you know all these movies, and
right.
You're just going to have to go out the clues I give you.
Sure.
He is a bit player in all of these movies. He's barely in any of them, but they're all humongous movies.
This is first time I'm going in 100% blind here.
Oh
folks.
Man, you got to get on that Jeremy Strong train.
I guess we'll see
Great.
after this trivia.
All
Maybe
right.
I'm already on it.
Number 1, the number 1 Jeremy Strong film of all time. It is kind of funny that we're doing Jeremy Strong. I'm having a good time. This film is a pretty massive, I don't want to call it a bio, let's call it a historical drama by one of the greatest living filmmakers.
Lincoln.
Correct. Wow. Coming out just guns a-blazing. Wow. Lincoln.
Well,
right off the bat. Okay. The next film came out the same year as Lincoln. It is about a pretty monumental event in American history. Kind of a war film, but it's more about like the bureaucracy around war. Stars a phenomenal actress. Jeez. What else can I give you?
She's the lead?
She's the lead of the movie. The undoubted lead, yes.
The Iron Lady.
No. This is American history we're talking here. And
okay.
it's more brutal. It's more modern. And it is about it's about being in the shadow of like one of the greatest tragedies in American history and like what we did as a country to like
what
we got.
Oh shoot. The Post?
No. Way more modern. Like
okay.
I'm talking like the events of this film are like super recent. What is the most terrible thing that has happened in your and my lifetime in American history?
Well, 9/11. Yeah.
Of course. So
Yeah.
So this is like a 9/11 movie. And it is about what we did as a country after 9/11 and the morality of that.
W.
No. What? W?
Yeah, I went with the Josh Brolin classic W.
W? Oh my God. No, remember, female lead. It's a great movie. It's really good.
Give it to me.
Zero Dark 30.
Oh shit. Love that.
Zero Dark 30.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn, that's a good movie too.
Woo. Jeremy Strong. Just the great resume of Jeremy Strong. Number 3 in the top 5 of Jeremy Strong. It's a bit of a comedy, but it's like I don't even know how to describe this. It's a great movie. I really like it. Stars a bunch of like big name actors, and it's about a certain financial thing.
Oh, The Big Short.
Okay, that's all you needed. Yeah, Big Short.
Yeah.
All right, number 4 is The Happening.
Okay,
number 5. This guy's just all up in the historical stuff. Another historical drama, a bit of a biopic, but it's more about like a certain time in this man's life. It's not like, a birth to death biopic.
All the Money in the World.
No.
Okay.
No. It's a really good movie. Very important Black film. Came out somewhat recently about one of the most. Go ahead.
Black Panther. No.
No, Black Panther I would not describe as a historical biopic, but
is that what you said? Historical biopic?
Yeah.
What's
the movie? The movie is titled
Thurgood Marshall.
No. But you got the right idea. Like a very important like civil rights activist. Probably the most
Selma.
important. Selma. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's the top 5 of Jeremy Strong. Lincoln, Zero Dark 30, The Big Short, Selma, and The Happening. One of these things is not like the others.
Wow, those are a lot of big movies. Damn, I'm really mad I didn't get Zero Dark 30 because that would have been.
It's a tough one for me to key up. You know,
I would have said anything if you would have thrown torture in there. I would have got it instantly.
Yeah, I felt like it was too easy if I said torture
or redhead.
I guess, yeah.
If you would have given me anything to do with Jessica Chastain, her red hair.
I tried to tell you she's a great actress and she's great in the movie. Okay, well that's it for the game. I'm so glad I was able to pull Jeremy Strong for this one. That was so fun for me.
Definitely threw me.
Yep. What do you got upcoming? We got to talk about some new movies that are coming out.
Okay, so my movie is, we're going to talk about this director on the podcast eventually. We're going to be talking about his 2 movies.
Okay.
So it'll only make sense. His movie is projected to come out on April 8th of next year.
Oh, okay. So not super close, but it's coming.
Right. Let me let you hear the cast. Willem Dafoe, Anya Taylor-Joy.
You're talking The Norseman.
Is it Norseman or Northman?
The Norseman.
Okay. Yep. That's exactly it. Yep.
Yes.
From Robert Eggers. It also has Nicole Kidman and Skarsgård.
Absurd cast.
I was not, the biggest fan of The Lighthouse, but I do understand the ridiculous performances that both the leads put on. Like, I
love that movie. That is not a very Brent movie, so I get that you don't like it, but I do love that movie.
But the one before the Vitch is just broken. It was my favorite movie, I think, of 2014 or whatever year it came out.
Or really?
2015.
So The Norseman.
Yeah, I'm going with that. I'm going with Robert Eggers' new movie that's coming out. Loaded cast. And cast. I'm excited.
Great director. I think it was like a behind the scenes like production still of the set that they had built for The Norseman. All these like Norse cottages. Looks unbelievable.
Yeah, he builds all his sets always look incredible. So
I'm very excited for The Norseman.
It says on IMDb The Northman.
Is it The Northman?
It does say The Northman. So
well, then I guess I got my face, don't I?
Well, that's all right. Just making me a little hungry.
Okay, so the movie I'm bringing. Yeah, so my turn, right? My turn to talk about a movie.
Yeah, anything coming up in the future?
Oh, yeah. I can't believe I haven't talked about this sooner. Spencer, baby.
Spencer, tell me about it. Who's directing it?
Spencer. Pablo Larraín. He most recently, he did a movie called Emma. Haven't seen it yet, but heard it's good. His most recent movie that you definitely have heard of was Jackie, starring Natalie Portman.
Sure.
A haunting biopic, just a beautiful film. And he's coming back and he's doing the Princess Diana biopic starring my girl, Kristen Stewart. And she's playing Princess Diana.
Okay. Is this the one you think she's going to get some Oscar?
She's getting nominated. It's time. I think she's going to get her first Oscar nom for this one.
Okay.
I'm ready for it. She deserves some love. She's got a long career. She's an incredibly talented actress that everyone shits on because she was in a couple bad vampire movies. But I got news for you folks. She's in other movies. And she's so good in them.
The one, was it The Road or On the Road? Or it was based on the Jack Kerouac novel with Garrett Hedlund.
What?
She travels with them.
I've never heard of this.
No? Oh, shoot. Well, she was decent in that.
She's so good. She's so good. I love her very much. She's one of my, I just get very excited whenever she's in a movie.
Sure.
And I'm excited for her to be playing Princess Diana in a movie directed by the guy who did Jackie. And the trailers have looked just completely gorgeous and haunting and just so sad. And anyways, the movie comes out in like 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm just like so excited for Spencer.
I am, it's tough to get that Twilight image out of my head of her doing like the little snicker breathing. Like I've seen.
Okay, well, here's two things. A, it's not a bad image. She's pretty good in those movies. Really like her in the first one. B, section article Z, whatever. She's in other movies that she's so good in.
Yeah, I get that. It's
Go
just,
watch Personal Shopper. Go watch Clouds of Sils Marie. Go watch Certain Women. Go watch all these great indie movies she's been making over the past like 10 years.
I get it. I totally get it.
The sexism of America, that she did the same thing Robert Pattinson did.
No,
we were
they
all
both
like,
were bad.
Robert Pattinson's so weird.
Taylor
Oh my God, I
Lautner was
love
bad.
them.
They were all
Okay,
bad.
Taylor Lautner never did anything afterwards. Though.
I get that.
I'm just saying the absolute sexism that everyone is hype as fuck about Robert Pattinson after he left Twilight, and everyone wants to shit all over K-Stu.
Listen, it's the thing. She chose to do these little like mannerisms that have become like
it's
her.
That's what she does.
I get it. I totally get it. But it's just, I don't know. It's funny. It's fun. Whenever I think of her, I think of that. I've seen her in other stuff.
I'm going to specifically only pick directors for us to cover that have Kristen Stewart movies, just so you can have just forced exposure to her.
No, God, no. Fuck. You know, what was it? The Julia Stiles like surprise that I got with Wide Awake was plenty.
Forgot about that. Stop it. She's not as bad as Julia Stiles. She's a great actress. She's going to get an Oscar nomination for Spencer. And I'm calling that right now on the podcast.
Calling it early, huh?
I just feel like the early buzz around it, the kind of love for her among the critical community. I can see it happening. And it's a movie about Princess Diana. People eat this shit up.
You know what? I'm going to call it right here on the podcast that she doesn't get it.
All right, well, you're gonna look like me 10 minutes ago calling a movie The Norseman. You're gonna look like a real dummy.
I might have some egg on my face too. But
hey, Natalie Portman got an Oscar nomination for Jackie. I think Pablo Larraín is just gonna come back and do it again for K-Stu.
I think Natalie Portman is a significantly more talented actress than K-Stu.
I disagree. I think they're both great, and I love them both a lot.
Oh, wow. That's a little head-to-head gauntlet.
Oh my God, it's the same thing. Natalie Portman is so horrendously bad in those Star Wars movies. She's atrocious in those Star Wars movies that everyone hates. And she came out and knocked it out of the park as a great actress. K-Stu did the same thing and everyone hates her. I'm so defensive of K-Stu.
No,
my girlfriend hates K-Stu. Everyone hates K-Stu.
I don't think that Padme Queen Amidala is the same as Bella Swan.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Shut up, bitch. I hope you do die.
Wow.
Bella Swan, what an icon.
Oh God.
That doesn't play in an audio medium. What you're doing?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't play. Whatever.
I'll edit it out. God damn it. All right, folks. That's our episode on The Happening. I'm so sorry I got so emotional about Kristen Stewart at the end.
Yeah, that's a little rough. No one wanted to hear that.
Well,
no, it's fine. No, I could have egg on my face and whatever. What do we got next? What do we got coming up next? Oh no.
I'm grimacing, folks. I'm making making a real poo-poo face.
I was smiling like I was trying to get it, and then his face just instantly reminded me of what we
I'm making a real I smell some poo-poo face.
Is it the Last Airbender?
It's the Last Airbender that we gotta watch next.
Okay, well, I've only seen it once, so maybe I was wrong.
You know what? Good for you, man. Good for you for having that kind of that optimism going into it. I'm glad that you can bring that. Unfortunately, I've seen it 3 times, so like this is just going to be a nightmare for me.
Oh God! All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. You can find us on Instagram at Film School Dropouts Pod and on Twitter at film_school_pod. Follow us on Facebook. Please remember, you can rate, review us. If you review us, I'll read your review on the podcast. I'll do it. And just subscribe to us, whatever. We love to hear your feedback, and we'll see you next week when we got to watch The Last Airbender. Yeah. It's my birthday this weekend, and I have to watch The Last Airbender in the same week that I have to celebrate my birthday.
This is M. Night's gift to you.
This sucks. I hate this podcast. I'm quitting.
Oh God.
Oh God. All right. Well, folks, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. My name is James.
I'm Brent.
Goodbye.
Bye.